Let's start with a myth. The B-52 Stratofortress is a flying fossil, a relic of the Cold War that should have been retired long ago. The truth? In 2025, the Air Force is proving that this legend is just getting started. The iconic bomber isn't just surviving, it's being reborn. With brand new engines and a wave of cutting-edge upgrades, the B-52 is preparing to fly not just into the 2030s, but all the way to its 100th birthday. This isn't a cosmetic touch-up. It's a complete heart transplant that will change how this bomber flies, fights, and survives. But here's the real question. Can a bomber first flown in the 1950s truly dominate modern battlefields? Or is the Air Force taking the ultimate gamble on a ghost from the past? 1. Why the B-52 needed a new heart. Let's talk about why the B-52 needed new engines. Right now, it's still running on Pratt & Whitney TF-33s, the same engines it's had since the early 1960s. Think about that. Every time a B-52 takes off today, it's flying on engines older than the pilots in the cockpit. Back in their day, these engines were state-of-the-art, but after 6 decades, they've become a logistical nightmare. Mechanics are stuck scavenging parts off retired aircraft, basically cannibalizing the dead just to keep the living going. And the fuel burn? These things guzzle fuel like there's no tomorrow. In today's combat environment, every refueling tanker is a massive target. That means inefficiency isn't just expensive, it's deadly. The Air Force knew they couldn't keep patching up the old TF-33s forever. If the Stratofortress was going to make it to its 100th birthday, something drastic had to change.
2. The F-130 engine. A modern heart for an old giant.
The solution came in the form of the Rolls-Royce F-130, a modern turbofan engine. The difference is staggering. These new engines provide about 30% more fuel efficiency, which slashes operating costs and dramatically stretches the bomber's range. A B-52 that once needed a lifeline of refueling tankers can now stay airborne for hours longer, loitering on the edge of enemy territory or reaching targets farther than ever thought possible. And the reliability is a game changer. The F-130s are built to run for years without the constant, intensive maintenance the old engines demanded. With over 600 new engines being produced, the entire B-52 fleet is set for this transformation, emerging as the redesigned B-52J. This isn't just a mechanical change, it's existential. For the first time in decades, the B-52 isn't limping forward. It's alive again, with a new heart that beats with chilling intent. This is a huge moment, and it fuels the channel just like these new engines fuel the B-52. Which inspires you more, the birth of something new or the rebirth of a legend? Drop your take in the comments. 3. Engineering hurdles. Old frame, new power. Now, this swap wasn't as easy as unbolting the old engines and strapping on the new ones. It was like trying to fit a brand new Formula One engine into a classic muscle car. The power is immense, but the frame was never designed to handle it. Integrating the F-130 brought massive challenges. One of the biggest? Airflow. Engineers discovered the bomber's air inlets weren't feeding smooth oxygen into the F-130s, which can cause violent vibrations or even engine failure. They had to reshape and reinforce the inlets just to keep the airflow steady. Then came the mounting issue. The nacelles, pylons, and struts all had to be re-engineered to handle the stress of stronger engines on wings designed 70 years ago. After millions poured into redesigns, the program finally cleared a critical review in late 2024. The path was clear for flight testing in 2025. 4. More than just engines. A digital makeover. You can't just give the B-52 a new heart and call it done. Its brain needed an upgrade too. The old jungle of analog dials is gone, replaced by sleek glass displays. These dashboards pull in radar feeds, sensor data, and weapons targeting all at once, so pilots aren't juggling Cold War-era instruments. The aircraft is also getting a new AESA radar, the same kind found on advanced fighters. This radar can scan huge areas, map terrain in 3D, and even jam enemy defenses. Add in secure satellite communications, and the B-52 is no longer flying solo. It's tied into a web of fighters, drones, and command centers. It may not be stealthy, but it's a lot smarter. Do you think upgrading an old warhorse is smarter than building a brand new stealth bomber? 5. What this means on the battlefield. So, what does this all mean on the battlefield? Simple. Terror. With its new engines, the B-52J can fly farther and stay in the fight longer. That extra range erases the comfort of distance. No nation is safe. And the payload? Still unmatched. A B-52J can haul dozens of cruise missiles, wiping out entire defense networks in one mission. But don't think of it as just a bomber anymore. With its new systems, it can command drones, pass intelligence, and coordinate strikes. The B-21 Raider might be the ghost in the night, but the B-52J? That's the hammer in daylight. Visible, unstoppable, inevitable. 6. The limits and trade-offs. But just when critics thought the Stratofortress had finally reached its limit, let's be real, the B-52J isn't invincible. Its sheer size and radar signature mean it will light up enemy screens. Its real job will still be standoff strikes, launching long-range weapons from outside enemy defenses. And this upgrade is expensive, nearing $9 billion, with full mission readiness not expected until the 2030s. Critics say the Air Force is betting too much on an aircraft that first flew when Eisenhower was president. But the reality is, building a brand new heavy bomber would cost even more and take decades. The B-52J is the compromise. Not invisible, not untouchable, but inevitable. If you were an enemy commander, would you fear the ghostly B-21 more, or the thunder of a B-52 that never died? 7. Why it still matters. Why keep this old beast around? Simple. The B-52 could be the first combat aircraft in history to hit the 100-year mark. Your grandparents saw it roll out, and your grandkids might still see it flying. Its survival isn't just about durability, it's about adaptability. With its new engines, digital cockpit, and networked systems, it's no relic. It's a cornerstone of the future, flying alongside stealth jets like the B-21. One will strike from the shadows, the other will dominate in plain view. Together, they'll make sure no adversary ever sleeps easy again. 8. Nuclear backbone. The B-52's return to strategic deterrence. The B-52J isn't just being rebuilt for conventional warfare. It's reclaiming its place at the core of America's nuclear deterrent. With the new long-range standoff, LRSO, missile, the bomber will soon be able to launch nuclear weapons from distances so vast that no enemy defense network can respond in time. This next-generation missile replaces the aging AGM-86, bringing stealthier flight profiles, improved guidance, and nearly undetectable radar signatures. Paired with the B-52's extended range and upgraded avionics, it transforms the aircraft from a relic into a strategic ghost, able to threaten from anywhere on Earth without ever entering hostile airspace. In military planning circles, this makes the B-52J more than just a bomber. It's a political signal, a 21st century reminder that deterrence doesn't always require new weapons, just the wisdom to evolve the old ones. 9. Global reach, the bomber that never sleeps. Few aircraft have the stamina of the Stratofortress. With its modern engines and digital backbone, the B-52J will serve as the ultimate long-range guardian. It can operate from the continental US, strike anywhere on the globe, and return home, all without landing on foreign soil. The Air Force is expanding this capability through new international partnerships and refueling networks, ensuring that the B-52 can respond instantly to emerging threats across Europe, the Pacific, or the Middle East. Combined with autonomous drones and stealth bombers, it forms a triad of endurance, invisibility, and overwhelming force. Even in a future dominated by stealth fighters and AI-controlled drones, there's still one weapon every commander knows by sound alone. The roar of 8 engines that mean the B-52 has entered the fight. 10. Legacy of iron and fire. The story of the B-52 isn't just about engineering. It's about endurance, innovation, and faith in design. The airframe that first carried nuclear bombs in the Cold War is now flying with technology designed for the digital battlefield. Its rivets have seen generations of engineers, and yet, it continues to adapt like a living organism. Every upgrade, from radar to propulsion, is another chapter in an unbroken story of evolution. For the Air Force, the B-52 is more than a weapon. It's a message that strength is not measured by age, but the bomber that wouldn't die. For most aircraft, time is the ultimate enemy, but for the B-52, time became the proving ground.
What began as a Cold War experiment in air dominance has evolved into something far greater, a living testament to American engineering and resilience. It has outlasted every president since Eisenhower, flown through every major conflict since Vietnam, and now, armed with new engines, new systems, and new purpose, it's preparing for another half-century of service. The B-52J isn't a relic of history. It's the spine of the future. This bomber doesn't hide in the shadows like the B-21. It announces itself. It's the roar that echoes across continents, the symbol that no matter how much warfare evolves, some legends refuse to die. In an era of drones, satellites, and AI warfare, the Stratofortress reminds the world that nothing replaces presence, especially when that presence comes armed with the power to reshape battlefields. As it nears its 100th birthday, the B-52 stands as more than a machine. It's a message that innovation isn't always about starting over, it's about refusing to give up.